Leo, this week, patience, self control is key. I've got the cards here and I want to show you how this is going to play out in your love, relationships, and in your career and what your challenges are. So let's talk about it. For the week of August 31st through September 6th, Leo, your core energy card here is the Three of Wands. Now, one of the things, and you got to see the way all this is going to play out. The Three of Wands is different than most other threes in the deck. The Three of Wands, he is taking no action. Threes, a lot of times, are calling for action to be taken. What this three is assuming is that the action has already been taken, and you have to be reminded of patience. You're full of fire. You're ready to go. You're diving in. And because that, you might make some bad decisions this week. Or we got to look at the overall picture. Slow down a bit. You're on the right path. That's great news, but you've got to be careful about your next steps and where you go. So patience, patience, patience. Get all the info first. Now, the way this balances out is in your love life. So we always assume love is like, oh, Valentine's and all that stuff. But love can be your family, your mom, your dad, a good friend, things like this. So we're talking about relationships and love here. You know, the Temperance card is here. And the Temperance card is here talking to you about balance. Now, keep in mind, we've already said your overall core energy this week needs to be wrapped up in patience. And here we have the Temperance card. The Temperance, man, everything has to go with the flow this week. I want you to understand, if you meet somebody new or whatnot, man, they may spark you right out of your shoes, but it doesn't mean you need to give them your socks to go with it. So slow down, get to know people, learn what's happening. One of the key things Spirit just gave me in a relationship balance is listen. You may think you have all the answers, but you haven't been presented with all of the information yet. Slow your roll, listen, stop for a minute, think, and your relationships and love life are going to be good. You have to have a balance. Even if it's in trouble and they're screaming at you, you got to pay more attention, you got to pay more attention, or you need to stay home. You have to find that balance, and that's incumbent on you not to make a rash decision. You're headed in the right direction, but make sure you know what you're doing. Now, where this is really going to come to play, okay, is when we're looking at your career, work, things like that. We have the Seven of Cups. The Seven of Cups is talking about choices that you're going to have to make. Now, here's what I want you to see how all this is going to play out. I want you to slow down when you're making these choices. There may be a choice that seems like, oh, that's it. Boom. Yeah, it's a no-brainer. I'm moving on. I need you to slow down, look at the long term, and that's going to be your gift card guidance. So hang on, okay? Because these decisions are going to have longer lasting ripples than what you're giving them credit for. And I need you to think about that down the road. Look at how it's affecting you, how it's affecting other people, how it's affecting your future, and maybe other people's future. All right? This is very important, and you're going to see why here in just a minute, because remember, the Three of Wands is saying, be patient, get all the information. Now I'm letting my ships come in. And so when we put that with career and the Seven of Cups, you can be really too quick to make a decision. Don't. Make sure you have all the information in before you go moving on. Because one of your challenges this week is the Emperor. Your big challenge this week is self-control. And this is what's going on. In self-control or not getting all of the information, okay, a good emperor gathers all the information they can before they make a decision about where to go, to invade, to defend, not to do anything, where they need to put their resources, what attention, what relationships within the empire need to be taken care of, what relationships outside of the empire need to be taken care of? What work has to be done on the infrastructure of the empire? And this is going to be your challenge. You're going to want to either throw it off on somebody else and delegate it and not pay attention, or you're going to think this is so easy and you're going to move through your life this week too quickly. And some of these decisions are going to bite you in the ass. That's exactly what's happening. That's exactly what's going on. Now, here's the beautiful part where I want you to slow down. What they're telling you is we have the guidance. Spirit has given you the 10 of coins for your guidance, meaning things can work out, things you do this week, but the 10 of coins is showing the end of something, a new cycle. And what I want you to do is look past right here, look past the immediate, and start looking, okay, if I make this decision, let's step back. Where is this going? And how is this going to affect us long term? How does it affect the relationship? How does it affect this person? Is something else better coming on? Is something else going? When I make this decision at work, is there something I need to be aware of? And yep, this might be a quick fix. I've got a saying I use with business, with people, and things like that. And it's really applying in the world today. And you need to be careful of that this week, Leo. Okay? Ready, fire, aim. We see a problem, we have a quick solution, we throw it at it. And sometimes our solution causes more problems than the extra 20 minutes it took to sit down and think about it and plan around it. Look for the problems, these things, because that's what's going to get you to the end with the rewarding payoff at the end. All right? Get my drift? Get what I'm putting down? That's why it's so important for you to remember. 3 of Wands is here to say, slow your roll. Be patient. Patience is key. The 10 of coins, this is something long term. This is something that's going to end. Temperance, balance, go easy, go with the flow. Choices, you need to back up and you need to make sure how the choices are affecting you long term. All right? That's what you need to know this week, because next week you're going to be affected by the choices you make this week.